Assalamu alaikum and good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are in the world. I know I took Sher's intro, but it was good. I like it.
It's all good. I took Atif's when it was my turn.
We are excited to have you at yet another edition of My Cave Podcast, inspired by frequent. I can't even finish it. Jonathan is laughing.
Why?
Can we start again?
Good. That was really good.
Again?
No,
we're not starting.
We've decided to become a no-edit podcast.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, okay, fine. Inspired by frequent conversations at Boston Pizza, My Cave offers Islamic-centric conversations about what it means to be a Canadian Muslim. So, this morning and this weekend is actually a really special weekend. Not only is it the Halal Star weekend, but it's also the All-Star weekend. I mean, and just for all our listeners who don't know what the Halal Star weekend is, it's like the most hyped basketball tournament in Edmonton
Halal
this
Star?
weekend.
It's also the punniest
The punniest. Okay.
basketball tournament.
So, my name is Subhan, and to the right of me is...
My name is Cher, spelt with an S, just in case you guys were planning to give me any fan mail. I also accept checks.
My name is Firas. You should really look into copyright law, Cher. He totally just ripped off your intro statement earlier.
Who did?
Subhan.
Oh,
you should
sorry.
copyright that, man. Just
No,
make
man,
sure
I
that
asked
be
him
like-
for it. I asked him for it.
Did you give him permission?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. If that's
Absolutely.
the case, that's fine.
My name is
Oh,
Atif. I'm a little kerfuffled this morning. Got only a little bit of sleep. I have a full day ahead of me. I'm tired, man.
And the latest addition to Kyle Lowry's fan club is...
Well, assalamu alaikum. My name is Adam.
Adam, by the way, I know you guys. I wish this is a visual podcast, but maybe in 10 years in the future when we can transmit video in podcast, then we can show you. But he's wearing a full basketball. He's ready for basketball, man.
Well, I'm ready
he's even
for
wearing
the-
that. What do you call it? A headband?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
Headband. The sweatband for the head.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like
it's,
that's the cheesiest thing ever.
It's
But I
for
love
the
it.
it's for the Halal Star.
We
basketball.
already plugged
Yeah,
it.
we already
Don't
plugged
worry.
it.
All our
Okay.
fans are
Bunch of
coming.
times.
There you go.
Well, I gotta make sure all the Adam Z fans come too.
Okay. All right. There we
Considering
go.
this will be
Speaking about
released
himself in the
after.
third person. Yeah, so I thought we'd just start off with some current events, just because that's how I like to start my morning. Not really, sometimes. But anyways, first off, obviously last Tuesday was the New Hampshire primary.
All right.
Donald Trump did win, and so did Bernie Sanders. So now I'm just going to open up the floor to any of you political geeks out there.
Do you feel the burn?
Yeah, exactly, right? So,
That's the
you
best
guys have
one
any
ever.
comments?
I mean, I guess I am a political geek because I think it's so interesting. You really, like, this election is the first one where, like, media is so important. Because, like, realistically, like, let's all be serious here. Donald Trump isn't going to win presidency,
Nope.
but he might win the Republican candidate just because who's the person you hear about most, right?
His exposure is unreal.
Yeah, and you know what it is about Donald Trump that I can actually admire? He knows how to get covered on, like, he knows what to say and when to say it, just so news stations and like websites will be like, guess what Donald Trump said, and obviously like the odd like 5 to 10% or maybe lower, I hope, is like, you know what, he's right, and then he gets all these supporters.
He has also, keep in mind, a lot more connections because he has his own TV show produced, The Apprentice, for years. So
Yeah, he does. The
he
Apprentice
knows
isn't
how,
on anymore.
but he knows how.
Yeah, he
TV
knows how
production
media
works. He knows
Yeah,
people
yeah,
in
yeah.
that business.
And he's the only candidate that knows how to use Twitter
Now, how
Well, I
effective
mean-
does he use it?
very effectively. So like,
He mocks people.
I don't know
on
if you
it
guys know
nonstop.
this. So when you directly tweet at someone, you say like at this person, and then you type a tweet. Not everyone is going to see that tweet. So what a lot of people do, and you might have seen this on Twitter if you're on Twitter, is like they'll put a period before the at. And so what that does is because it's not at someone, it's a period and then at, everyone will see that tweet. So whenever you see that, it's a fully like something that someone thought about, that everyone needs to see this tweet, but I'm going to make it look like it's a personal tweet.
It's like
And Donald Trump, almost all his ad tweets are with that dot, so everyone sees it.
So basically, yeah. No, that's smart. But I mean, for most of the candidates, I'm sure they have like social media teams that take care of their Twitters.
Yeah. But like, the thing is, like, that's the difference, right?
Yeah.
Like in Canada, we have Norm Kelly,
Yeah.
who like everyone loves, but no 65 Norm Kelly is a Toronto
Who's Norm
counselor.
I don't know
He's
who
a-
Norm Kelly is.
He's
I don't
a
know
he's
who
a
Norm Kelly
counselor
is.
who's on Twitter, and he's very popular. He's a huge Drake fan, apparently. He's just this old white dude, right? But obviously
An old
he has
white dude.
he has like a social media team right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That tweets for him and takes pictures of him, right? Like when Meek Mill and Drake were having their beef, they took a picture of Norm Kelly handing out an L. And like the letter L on a piece of paper, and he was like at Meek Mill, and he showed him that picture.
Oh, dang.
But like, obviously, Norm Kelly's like, guys, take this picture of me. Like everyone's like, yo, Norm, let me take this picture of you.
Well, he's marketing himself, right? He's branding himself too.
Yeah, but lots of people think it's him, right? So he has lots of fans that way.
All right. So, I mean, this was the script for last weekend's podcast. The Super Bowl just happened.
Right?
Did you guys watch it?
Yes.
Yeah?
Did you watch the halftime show?
Yeah.
I didn't watch the whole thing.
I
just
actually
the halftime
watched
show.
it at work with Patience.
You watched that work. You told us. That's great.
What's that?
He
Super
watched
Bowl?
it at work with Payton.
Oh,
Patience, not payments or Peyton. So, what do you guys think? Was it good?
before
I like-
anything, I wasn't sure who was going to win. So,
Well,
Jimmy-
most of us aren't sure who's going to win. That's
But
why
no,
it's a
but-
game.
But then I was 99% sure who was going to win.
Oh, okay.
I should have.
With like 1 second left, like I know the Broncos are going to win.
No. It's let me explain to you the magical word of Bakwaas.
Okay, please.
So, Jimmy
explain,
Fallon-
explain,
Tell two
explain
Pakistani
to our-
guys what Bakwaas means.
Jimmy one Bengali guy, please.
Bakwaas just means BS,
And
essentially.
what-
Jimmy Fallon.
What?
What?
I was ready to
I
fire
always-
shots
no.
first thing in the morning.
I always forget that Adam's Guyanese.
Yeah, I thought he was Bengali for like 6 months.
Oh,
And then you were
I knew you were Guyanese.
They predicted
Once
who
you
was
told
going to
me.
win accurately.
Well,
Jimmy Fallon predicted it. He had puppies lined up, and they made them go towards two bowls. One was the Broncos, one was the Panthers. And they all went for the Broncos. He predicted the winnings.
Was there no food in the Carolina?
Was there a whip telling the
say-
dogs?
I actually have to say that Super Bowl was so boring. Like,
Really?
it was so bad. Okay,
so.
the scoring was so low. You look
I
at
don't-
like other,
Yeah, but
other
that's a
Super
good
Bowl.
defensive game.
Yeah.
No, but like, come on.
No,
I
I thought that Super Bowl was
The last
amazing.
Super Bowl was a blowout.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
exactly.
didn't like that at all.
Blowout Super Bowls are the worst.
No, the
What's
best.
his blowout?
If
When-
it was like a
when one team
27-21 game,
dominates.
you know?
Yeah,
Like,
when the
that would've been
Seahawks
great.
played the Broncos
Yeah.
and they were just obliterating them the
Yeah,
whole time.
yeah.
That's not fun to
It's
watch.
not,
You like
no.
you watch 10 minutes. You're like, okay,
You're like,
Seahawks
these are the
won,
two
but-
best teams
Imagine
in the NFL, and it
Germany
just
and
comes
Brazil,
down to this.
basically, to those
but
that don't
here's
watch
a-
American
here's-
football.
yeah.
It was a boring match.
Here's
But
an interesting stat. Okay, so out of the last 12 Super Bowls, the number one rated defense of the league has made it to the last 9 out of the 12. Right?
Oh.
And no. Was that it? And they won every single one so far. Like the best
9 out of
defense
12 times.
always, the best defense most of the time is winning your game. And like, I guess we're going to sports. I don't think it was a boring. I don't think it was a boring game at all. Just because like, if you can appreciate defense, I feel like too many people just love offense so much that they can't appreciate a good defense. If you understand how good the Broncos defense is, where someone sacks a quarterback and within half a second 2 people are on a ball, it's just a ball hawking like that's incredible to me. I thought it was super entertaining.
Legit. What do you got to say, Z?
I mean, maybe I'm just a sore like Cam Newton fan. You know, I was
Yeah.
rooting for Cam Newton, but I mean, I thought it was kind of frustrating to see him fail to get that offense going time.
Yeah, and in Cam's defense, like no one can even say Cam Newton's not one of the best QBs in the league right now.
No.
He's like 26 years old. This dude has a phenomenal career ahead of him. Peyton Manning. Oh, side subject. Peyton Manning should retire, in my opinion. He's on his 200th win. It just so happens to be the Super Bowl, which just so happens to be his second ring.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
you
It's a
good
can't
time
end
to
on a
stop.
sweeter note.
Yeah.
So tell him basically leave now. Trust me. On
Yeah.
a more interesting note, because me and Sure are about to sleep off.
No, I have
Halftime show.
Oh yeah, how was that?
Beyonce, my man.
I've always been a Beyonce fan.
Me too.
She's quite a performer. A lot of experience. That's all I'm gonna have to say.
Bruno was there too.
Yeah, Bruno Mars is
Yeah,
excellent.
And
apparently-
Coldplay opened.
I know, but apparently they said
Whoa,
that.
okay, Coldplay did not open.
Hold on.
Coldplay was the main act.
Yeah, Coldplay was the main act.
But that's the thing. It was Beyonce that was having it the most because of her new song.
and that's great. But so Coldplay was obviously, like Arthur said, the main act. But a lot of people on Twitter were saying that like Bruno Mars and Beyonce saved Coldplay. So I didn't get to watch halftime
Saving
show.
You know what?
I'm a big Coldplay fan.
Yeah,
but-
me too.
I thought Coldplay was good.
I'm
Yeah,
not a big fan
I
of
thought-
Coldplay. I
Yeah,
don't like
exactly.
that music.
Coldplay is a very niche kind of
Yeah,
like
no doubt.
type of music, whereas like Uptown Funk, like if you don't like listening to Uptown Funk, there's something wrong with you. It's just an upbeat, nice song.
Okay. And we have 2 last stories. And I know this is like current events, but that's okay. So, some bizarre news. You might like this because you're weird.
Bizarre.
Some fitness trackers are vulnerable to monitoring. Some research done at the UT, such as on popular brands such as like Garmin, Fitbit, Apple, And it said that each of these devices use Bluetooth technology that emits a unique signal that can be detected even when the tracker isn't paired to your phone. So, I mean, now everyone is like super paranoid about like having their privacy, and I mean, all it would take is a little bit
lumps of fat you gain over the weekend.
No,
I'm private to that. I don't want you to know.
I don't think Bluetooth
I
tracks your
have
weight.
5 cheat days a week. Is that? That's a big
No,
deal
it doesn't
about
tell.
it.
No. But like people are saying like, oh, someone can like write some code and then they can like track me. But I think this is just a joke. And the article is also mentioning that people can like inflate their stats for the day. So I burned like 10,000 calories doing like 2 minutes of walking.
I walked around the sun twice, man. So much distance I ran today.
Yeah, people are so, I don't know, people are so overly paranoid. Like, what are you doing? Like, what? Even if they were to track you, like, you're scared someone knows that you're going to work and school and back home?
I suppose it's
You should be worried about what people can do, like watching you on the internet, like see, like right,
Exactly.
Well,
not like what you're doing with your physical activity.
this
for the
isn't
day.
new, but Samsung did announce it again because people keep forgetting. Their smart TVs
Oh yeah, I saw that.
record everything you talk about. They stream it back to Samsung because that's how it adapts and learns their system. So literally anything you see in your house,
Why
you
is
have a
that
smart
allowed?
TV, Samsung records it. And because they're letting you know, they're not doing anything illegal at this point because you know they're being recorded.
There may or may
Samsung.
not be a rebate for Muslims to buy Samsung TVs, and it may or may not be funded by. I'm just kidding.
Well, I mean, if,
Subsidized by the government. If you're Muslim, please buy it.
if they want to track my internet usage, they're just gonna see a lot of Monday memorable memes. So
That's
I'm
so
not gonna
true.
let you plug
Shout
that.
out to Adam Z for posting Monday memorable memes each Monday on Facebook. And finally,
Actually, one time he posted late.
oof.
It was a Tuesday.
I actually didn't post last week.
Whoa! All right, his credibility
slipping,
is
man.
absolutely
It'll
gone.
It'll be back. Don't worry.
And a final story. It's about McDonald's. So
I thought it was
apparently,
something
See, that's
no,
interesting.
No, hold on. So apparently, McDonald's introduced this new like crispy chicken kale salad, and this crispy chicken kale salad,
Kill?
kale,
Oh, okay.
kale, not kill. I'm gonna kill you, chicken. So this crispy chicken kale salad has more calories than a double Big Mac.
What the?
What?
I don't
Then
get
a
it.
double
It's like
Big
the
Mac.
kale
Yeah.
engineered to have like grease in it. Or
No,
something.
it's because all the other things that are in there. There's
Yeah.
like feta and there's like fried chicken. So I don't know how it's a healthy salad.
Why we want to know the Fitbit information.
That's the McDonald's way.
McDonald's, they've been slipping in like 10 years ago. That was the food you go to no matter what. Now people are more aware about junk food and how bad it is. Specifically, McDonald's has on their fries and burgers. I see that their popularity has decreased, which is why they're trying to rebrand themselves.
Yeah.
If you see, they're trying to do their order whatever you want. Fresh station, you get to have 3 types of cheese
I really
or
like that, actually.
fresh vegetables. It's a nice idea, but you got to keep in mind these guys need to commercialize in such a way that it's around the whole world. You will not have quality. It'll still be quantity for them.
I think
That
I think
piece of
McDonald's-
lettuce that's gonna look good is not gonna be fresh lettuce. I think it's gonna be. It's still junk food. No matter how much they market themselves as
Yeah.
delicious, healthy food.
This is what they-
Unfortunately, it's McDonald's, guys. Let's face it.
But I mean, at least they're trying on like other.
They have to.
Other
I mean,
restaurant
they have
chains. Like I think McDonald's has. Oh, they have obviously like yogurt parfaits, but those are like really fatty, and they have
Yeah.
like oatmeal, which DJ Khaled likes apparently. And I may or may not have started following on Snapchat, and that was the worst decision of my life.
Look, there's
But-
2 types of people: those that do, and those that lie and say they don't. Unfortunately. Anyways,
all right.
back to McDonald's.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
like,
speaking of McDonald's and the Super Bowl, if we backtrack a little bit, I remember watching a McDonald's ad where they go everywhere, like in like different countries where they speak different languages. Like, do you guys know where I can get a McDonald's? And everyone's like, what? And he's like, and he makes a burger with his hands and pretends to eat a burger. And they're like, oh,
you
yeah,
want roti?
over there."
Okay, come here.
Who eats a roti like this? Is that
I
how
don't
you
know.
eat it?
No, man.
I'm making like pretend to hold a burger in the air. I'm talking to you now, listener. Pretend to hold a burger. Okay, that's what I was talking
You
about.
have
Who
an
eats a roti
intimate
like
moment with
that?
the mic.
Yeah.
At this point.
So, yeah, it was a really cool ad because like everyone knows what McDonald's is, and popularity is decreasing. But when you're the most popular brand in the world, you have that room to. It's like, guys, only 5 billion Coke bottles are being sold in a week now. It's like, okay,
Get that number up.
as opposed to 7 billion.
Diabetes.
How many different types of Cokes?
Who said that?
I did.
Okay.
How many different types of Cokes and Pepsis is there? There's like no sugar one, 0 calorie one, no drugs one. There's like so
No
many different
drugs. That doesn't exist. They all have drugs in them.
Oh, caffeine is a drug.
It is, yeah. That's what I mean by it. I suppose I meant other. Because didn't
Backtrack.
Coca-Cola originally have cocaine in it? The original recipe?
I don't know. Like I've heard that. Yes,
This is
I've
like
heard
one of
that.
those Facebook facts.
I still think
that,
it does,
someone
by the
just
way.
text over a picture and you're like,
Oh my god, that's so true.
Yeah.
Gonna write a thesis on it.
I still think it does, by the way, because that's the amount of teeth ruined by that thing. You have to be a meth head that drinks that stuff. I know it's the acid in it, but hey, looks can be deceiving.
All right, so now that we got that out of the way, I'm really glad that we were able to have that conversation. We're going to jump into our topic for this week. So, I am the host for this month, so you'll have to deal with my weird topics. But I feel like I was listening back to all the other podcasts, and they're all great.
especially mine.
Yeah, especially those ones, and the ones I sure hosted. And the ones
And
that
now
Aaron's
the ones that
hosted.
you're doing.
Okay, but so basically
Aaron's
everyone...
He's like, hey.
hey, what about me? No, so I don't know. This is something that I've kind of struggled with before, and the topic is building confidence and dealing with setbacks and criticisms. So the premise for this topic was I chose it because most of us at the table, and maybe our listeners, are at the stage in their life where they're transitioning into a more serious phase of their life. Whether that be getting your first job at university, or finishing high school, or maybe even getting married. How do you tackle these challenges and face some of the criticisms and setbacks that will happen? Just because I don't really know what I'm trying to say, but you guys know what I'm trying to say.
You need
So
to
how will you face these challenges? Because these setbacks are inevitable, right?
So I think I guess I'll start it off here because I think I'm definitely qualified to talk about setbacks. The life I have right now is definitely not the life I had planned for myself to have, 3-5 years ago. But over time, one thing that I realized that handling setbacks and handling criticisms and things like that is all a mindset. Once you realize that, it's not a negative thing, but it's actually an opportunity for you to grow, that's when your life starts to change. Everything you do starts to become a lesson, right? When everything starts to become a lesson, you want to improve yourself. And how do we improve ourselves? That's by seeking knowledge. And as we know, as Muslims, it is our duty to seek knowledge. So one last thing that I want to add about stepbacks, that's a dance. Just dance your problems away, man. You won't get too far, unless you're Usher. I don't want to sound too cliche, but, setbacks are stepping stones for you to get to higher places.
What's the name of the guy that owns Virgin Mobile?
Hey, Virgin. Oh, Rick Brown. No.
Anyway,
Is this
him,
really common knowledge?
his he owns a lot of different companies, but people use him a lot as a reference when they talk about success because he tells people, "You think I'm so successful? I think he's a billionaire right now. He's done well in his life, but he tells people is you see my success only, but the amount of failures I've done is so great that people usually give up halfway through the amount of failures I did." And think of it like an iceberg. That's a really good example. You see the tip of an iceberg, but you don't know how much failure is under there. You don't know how massive amounts of struggles they had to go through. It's just a perseverance. Perseverance. That's how you say it,
That's
right?
Titanic.
That's Titanic. Titanic struggled. But see, because of Titanic struggle, because of the failure, now we have better ships because we learned from it.
You got that right.
Now, obviously, failing is hard. That's the one thing about it. It's really harsh. It ruins your morale in such a way where, all your effort goes away, but you actually learn something from it. And if you can take that into yourself, incorporate it into your will in doing things more progressively. Man, I can't even talk today. I should really do this on a much
Slurring
later
your
date.
words there, Fiddles.
I'm a little tired, man. I only slept a bit. But anyways,
Too much Coca-Cola.
essentially, too long to read the TLDR. Shortcut
what?
to it. What is it? Too long to read?
Too long didn't read.
Too long didn't read.
No.
Yeah, too long.
TLDR.
TLDR. Basically, as much as failure sucks, you need to look past that and see how much you can push yourself further. Because after every successful guy, there is failure behind. What do you think about that, Adam or Atos?
I think it's common knowledge that you're never gonna set out to do something and just have like a straight path to do that. For me personally, as someone going into university in hopes of becoming a lawyer, I have to prepare myself mentally that I might become like a gym teacher.
By watching Suits?
No, I actually want to be a lawyer since I was like 8.
No, I was joking. You're going to prepare yourself by watching Suits.
No, I don't even like Suits that much. I watched like a couple episodes. It was okay.
You can't just be a gym
I
teacher.
did, but I didn't.
You need to be Because gym teachers in Canada don't get paid. You have to be like a social teacher or math teacher as well.
No, I'll be a gym teacher.
Just a gym teacher.
I'll be a gym and a social teacher. Anyways,
Like living in your
like
parents'
you have to deal with
basement.
those setbacks and like
Yep.
you know like criticisms. I don't. You know how lots of people are like I face so much criticism in my life. I haven't, and that like I hate that because like whenever I do something like someone will be like really nice like yeah after like what you did like the best way we could. I was like dude just lay it on me, just give me the facts. What am I like roast me man? I'm like dad just roast.
Some people can't take criticism, I suppose,
Yeah,
though, right?
like Subhana's a salt mine, right? Like
Oh, no doubt.
yeah.
Whoever
Trust
that
me,
guy
in
is.
my contacts.
I know,
literally
I know.
Salt mine right next to your name.
Okay. Good.
After
Salt,
mine
okay,
myself.
wait, really quick, viewers. Salt is like you give someone criticism and they kind of like take it without a grain of salt. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
thought it was
there's
just
salt
bitterness.
mine. There's like
Salt
a
mine.
million grains of salt.
I
Go ahead,
think,
Z.
I think that failure is something that I've experienced, whether it be in sports
It's like weather.
No, Adam has a good
Or-
point. Work.
or in the work life or in like school. So for example, like in sports, I'm a goalie, and even though I play like men's league, I take it very seriously. Like I hate to lose. So when I lose, like when I fail at something, like last year we lost like in the finals, like it personally like it took a like I was very like upset about it.
That was 17 legs they just said in that sentence.
You kept track?
You know,
kept track.
Well,
you know, Adam just always sounds like his dog just died.
Adam, did your dog recently die?
I don't have a dog.
Okay, well then.
Not
you don't
anymore.
have an excuse.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. He's in denial now. I don't have a dog. I never did.
No, but
really
for real talk here, Adam hustles so much at work. He started from the bottom and he's working his way up. Like I can't imagine 10 years from now he's not the CEO of wherever
Do you know
he
what
works at.
hustling at work means?
I don't know if
It
I'm
means he's working hard. You know, he's making
Okay.
money. Isn't
Just
that
for
what
our
it means?
listeners that didn't know what that meant, or mistook it for something else. But yeah,
Hustling
anyways.
is not dealing drugs.
Okay.
Ross talks about drugs at least once every podcast. Like I have
One
my
time-
suspicions at
yeah,
this point.
one time in a previous podcast, he's like, "Your comments to us are like crack," and we were like, "You couldn't use like a better simile for your
There's
comments."
always a drug
And
simile.
that's why we have -2 listeners now.
Negative 2 listeners.
Actually,
working
okay,
for
It's like a
50.
higher volume of drug users.
just really quick, we have a Facebook page, like we update it pretty frequently. But for the last little while, we haven't been updating as frequently. But viewership, like I get notifications like you have 20 new views on your Facebook page. I was like, where's this coming from? I haven't posted anything.
Man.
So cool. Thanks
Creepers,
for
man.
Facebook.com/mycavepodcast.
We love you guys.
I didn't
Check
get
it
a
out.
chance to finish my point. It was cut off by Faraz.
And then not the.
But he was like,
Yeah.
Dude, I
You're
was like-
being a jerk. Anyways, please finish your point.
Well, I was just saying that, if you look at some successful people, for example, Michael Jordan got cut off his basketball team, and now look where he is now.
Retired.
Like Walt Disney was, like, I guess, laughed at for his idea, and look at where he is now. So, like, you're always going to have failures, but it's how you respond to them. That's what makes you the person that you are.
And I don't know. I mean, you know how everyone always hears like, "Oh, Walt Disney was laughed at." Oh, why am I forgetting her name? J.K. Rowling was declined by like 3 publishers. But like these are all like 1 in a million stories.
Yeah,
you
they're
know?
anomalies, right?
How about we go around and you talk about like a time you faced some criticism but did something and it worked out, or you faced criticism and you gave up,
And
but
then
if
just
you
became
had
salty,
continued, yeah.
right? No, I don't know.
I can't think of any on the spot.
I can think of one.
Yeah?
Go ahead.
So,
Z.
for example, last year when I first started working at my job, which is at the Alberta Mental Hospital, as a psychiatric aide, I saw there was no Juma program. So, I had a lot of shifts that were on Fridays. So I said, okay, like let's try and start a Juma program. So there was one guy who was Muslim, he worked with me. So he said, okay, let's do it. And we talked to my boss. My boss said, yeah, it's okay. However, when the response we got from the fellow workers was like overwhelmingly negative.
Just to start Friday prayers.
Yes, you won't believe the backlash we got. Just because people are like, oh, they're taking an extra break, we should be able to go early, things like that, right?
Yeah.
And it was so bad, that we actually contemplated stopping it because it's just a lot of we had
It's
people
causing chaos.
we had people writing into the union. That's how serious they wanted. They were against it, right? However, like, alhamdulillah, me and this brother, like, we pushed through it. We fought back against, like, the criticism and the hard times. And what we did is we tried to enlighten our staff members. Mm-hmm. So, like, I made a pamphlet and I would give it out. I gave one to my boss. He's like, wow, this is, like, really good. And alhamdulillah, now, like, it's been, like, about a year. And it might not sound like a lot, but we went from basically, like, 3 or 4 people to about, like, 6 to 8 coming in. And now even we have a non-Muslim patient who comes in.
That's awesome.
So that's good.
Yeah.
You know what's up. Making your boss, trying to convert him to Islam. Once you do, you're going to make bank, man.
Okay, all right.
He's not my boss anymore.
Anyways. So basically what Adam's trying to tell us is that through any challenges that you face, you just have to persevere. And you have to keep a positive attitude. And I think that's really important, right? Because when you're facing these challenges and these setbacks in your life, you're like, why me? Like, why is this happening to me? And, I just wanted to do this and it's not working out the way I wanted it to. But you also have to remember that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He tests you. And through those tests, like Atif was mentioning, you learn a lot of things, right? So it's a really hard lesson to learn at that time. But in hindsight, you'll be like, oh, wow. That made me so much of a better person. Yeah. So I'm just gonna feel a little bit. So I heard this quote once, and it was kind of funny. It was like, "Be yourself, as long as being yourself is halal."
What? Who told you this?
I don't know. I heard this somewhere. Like,
I love it.
Yeah.
It sounds like something you would say.
So basically, and like obviously through these challenges, sometimes you'll be put in not compromising situations, but you might be put in a situation where you have to make a decision where, you may or may not be happy with the outcome of that decision, right? So you just have to make sure that, like when you're faced with these challenges, that you always have to keep in mind that everything that you're doing is like for the best and in a halal way, I guess.
What it goes through. There was I listened to the radio the other day because my car doesn't have an auxiliary cord. Struggle so real.
Me too, man.
Struggle.
I listen to like AM radio all the time. I'm like, okay.
I got an auxiliary cord.
But anyways, so listening to this radio, and the host was like, send us messages about the strangest things your kids have told you, even though, it makes no sense. And this one mom talked about her daughter, and what she said was really, what I'm about to say may sound stupid in a sense, but just think about the principle about it and how she just lets go of things. She tells her mom, when I get mad, I just imagine all my anger about the issue as a dish plate, and I just grab that dish plate and I smash it in the ground. So whenever there's any anger that I have towards you for doing something wrong, I just break the dishes in my head. That's the way I do things. And, that's just the way kids think. But the way she told her mom was, with this one day she really wanted to buy this doll. And mom's like, no. We have my kids here, right? So it's really different examples, right? So for a doll is like, your dad telling you can't marry this girl or you can't get this car.
a little bit of an exaggeration. Let's go with car, not girl.
Anyways, so then this girl gets really mad, but she's like, you know what, Mom? I'm not mad at you. I just made that into a dish and I just smashed it in the ground. We're done. Let's go over this.
I like the principle, but it's like there's so much mental effort. You like gotta make the dish, gotta make sure it's clean.
Well, it could be a
my mom's
clay
gonna
bowl.
yell at me if it's dirty. Like that stress I don't need.
I just found it really funny, the innocent way of the kids doing things, I suppose.
Hey guys, just want to say salam. I'm heading.
Zaki, get out of here.
I'm leaving now. Bye now. Bye bye. Bye guys.
He's so
Bye.
Nerd.
Bye.
Classic nerd.
Oh boy.
Get us some tea, chawla.
He walked up behind you and I knew it. He looked at me. I was like, I know what you're gonna do.
Just give him a look.
Yeah.
Just shared a moment.
Okay.
He shared a moment?
Oh yes, he shared a moment.
Share a moment.
Anyways, so I'm just
Leave
gonna
him
ask
all
you
that
guys, and so I'm gonna pose a question to you. So how can you distinguish between self-confidence and arrogance? Right? They are kind of. So now we were talking about dealing with setbacks, but we're gonna shift gears a little bit and talk about self-confidence, because if you have self-confidence, then you're able to deal with these a lot better, right? Because it's having confidence in yourself just means that, and
Drop
this
the
is brought to you
ball,
by
Atif.
8:30 a.m.
Okay, wait, hold on. Let me
Alarm.
get that out. So we were going to edit that out, but we decided we were no edit podcast. If Han messed up earlier, I just messed up. All right, confidence. Go ahead.
Okay, confidence. All right, he has confidence in me. Not really. But anyway, so we were talking about dealing with these setbacks, right? And a nice way to deal with these setbacks is obviously having confidence in yourself. And basically, when I say that, I mean being confident in your ability to deal with these problems, right? Because a lot of the times why these problems seem so much larger than they actually are is because we just don't feel like we have the ability to like deal with them or accomplish them. So that could be, writing a really hard final exam with like no sleep or whatever or anything. But like confidence is productive, right? It can benefit you and the people around you. And arrogance is destructive. So an example of arrogance is when Pharaoh was denying the message of Musa alayhi salam. I just thought I'd throw that in there just because here and there
when
going
you
to
said
pepper
like,
it.
the first syllable of Pharaoh, I was like, Firas?
Firas.
Are you going to put Firas on blast?
So anyways, I'm going to pose this question to you guys
Coincidence?
now. How can we distinguish between self-confidence and arrogance? Go.
That's a difficult question.
And I mean, yeah, everyone's going to have different interpretations, right? Because so everyone's personality is different, and what you might be like projecting as self-confidence might be taken as arrogance from other people simply because they don't know you, right? So
Let's let Cher go first. He hasn't talked a lot.
But that is actually a pretty difficult question. To be honest, a lot of people can have like outward what here? What am I trying to think of? Outward display. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Outward displays of certain characteristics that to some would seem like it's overconfidence, but to some wouldn't seem arrogant, right? So I really think the final answer depends on what's in your heart, because you can act a certain way, but again, it's what's in your heart. If you're doing it out of confidence, if you're doing it out of arrogance, right? Because I think what people perceive is different for everyone. So I think that is what.
In my case, I think arrogance comes from when I'm purposefully thinking, okay, I gotta seem like I know what I'm doing or something, like whatever, depending on the circumstance, right? If I'm if I'm actually thinking about it, that's when I feel like I'm arrogant. Whereas if I don't think about something and I'm just doing like what I feel like is right, that's a confidence kind of thing, and that's the line for me. It's like I was reading Ray-Bans have this Never Hide campaign where all their stuff has so many logos all over it, right? And it's called the Never Hide campaign. So I remember watching this video and someone was like, Never Hide campaign doesn't make sense. If you're cool, you shouldn't have to tell people you're cool. You're just cool. Mm-hmm. The second you have to tell someone you're cool is when you're a douche, right? Yeah. So like same with being confident. Like if you have to tell other people I'm confident or like other things, that's when you're arrogant to me. Like in my opinion. Am I allowed to say douche?
Yeah, I said it before. I said
the
exact same thing.
In Arabic, douche means the shower head.
Yeah, in French too.
That's all I understood. Shower head. Don't be a shower head.
that comedic relief.
That went. See, like shower head to me, like in my head was like towel head, turned into like turban to like.
You make the worst.
Don't you see that when people call like people that wear turbans towel heads? You've never heard that before?
No.
Yeah, I've heard that before. Yeah.
See, I'm not just.
You're not.
Adam say no.
I guess it's like intentions, the way I see it.
No, he actually was starting in his defense.
And you guys started laughing.
Oh.
Nothing new about my life. I'm just going to go sit on the corner.
All right.
It's all about intentions. That's why, usually whenever people start any events in Islam, we always say, let's renew our intentions. And the way I see it is if you always are aware of what you're doing and seeing what you're doing right now, you can... It's like checking yourself. Is that right?
Yeah, check yourself.
Check yourself pretty much.
Check
See what you
like yourself.
Are you actually being is this about confidence or are you just being cocky here? Are you just being, obnoxiously annoying in a sense where it's not just confidence at this point. It's just you being blinded by your own self-esteem. And it's difficult. It's not an easy thing. That's why I'm not really sure because it's everyone has their own standard of it. Like maybe you're confident about taking on, let's use basketball as an example. Let's say you're confident taking on 10 people. You know you can. You're just that good. 10, and it's true. 10? But someone else who can barely, take on 2 people will see you as, hey man, you're being cocky. When do we can take on 10 people? It's a really mild example, but I'm just showing the perspective from people. He actually sees it as himself. He needs confidence and he knows he can do it. Someone else sees it as he's just really being ridiculous at this point. That's where it's really difficult. It's knowing what's the line there. Like at what point, no matter what it is, it's not confidence. If he can find that answer, that'll be the key to answering your question.
Okay, you've been checking out too many of his
Yeah,
snaps,
too
but
much
that's
detail.
okay.
Success.
Don't play yourself.
You smart. You loyal.
Okay, Adam, go ahead,
Alright.
buddy. Go ahead.
This is a tough question, but personally, it's not one that I really face because I'm pretty quiet, so you can't really tell what I'm thinking.
Okay, but so
What about in other people?
Well,
And
no,
other
no.
people,
Oh,
to be honest, I try to do the 70 excuses for your brother. So
Are they 70?
someone, I don't know. There's just a lot. Okay. So like if someone like they're seeming like they're arrogant, I'm like okay, maybe just a really confident guy. And like for me, I like to think everything in sports terms. So for example, if like as a goalie, if you're really confident, you're gonna be on top of your game. You're gonna be like really like on point, right? So if someone like I think people need confidence in themselves. So I mean, they might seem a little arrogant, but like you guys said, if you have to tell someone that you're cool, then you're not cool, right? So if they're confident, then good for them. But
Yeah,
it's a tough line.
but I'd like to ask you another question. So now you say that you are a quiet guy, but of course, Adam Z is a performer. He does spoken word poetry. So how
Adam
do
Z.
you?
Newell is a quiet guy. Adam Z is loud.
Okay, Adam Z spits fire. But yeah, so how do you kind of? So you walk into a room. There's a large audience. Like, how do you? Because I mean, like, this is like, how do you?
Public image. How do
yeah.
you maintain that so people don't see as this guy's just obnoxiously annoying? No, not annoying. You are, but
What?
like,
I don't
he's
even
just
talk.
too-
How can I be
He's
annoying?
too cocky versus mashallah. This guy has a lot of confidence.
This is
And
us talking
going
about
upstage.
himself in the
This
third
is,
person.
he's talking about backstage versus on stage.
Yeah.
I just try to stay humble. Like if someone says good job, I don't say, "Oh, I know." I'm like, thank you. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. Always just try to stay humble. That's what I try to
Staying
do.
humble is one way to keep yourself in check from being confident. Being is opposite. Are we saying cocky? I feel like that's not the word we're using.
Well, cocky is fine. Like it's arrogance, right?
Arrogance there.
Arrogance is a proper term, I guess.
Like staying humble. That is actually true. That's a good way of doing it.
Cool.
I myself would have to agree with Feroz in that. So it's a bit of a fine line because when you're obviously the way you project yourself, that's how people perceive you.
Mm.
But to you, that might be, hey, I'm going to say this, but other people might take it the wrong way. So that's where it's a bit of an issue. But obviously, like Adam is saying, that trying to keep yourself humble and always don't like overstep your boundaries, because then when you mess up, then you'll look like a total like mess. But anyways, so now we're just gonna wrap up the podcast. But before we do that, I'm just gonna share some positive hadith on some hadith on positive thinking. Okay.
After that, we need to do top 5. Then we'll
Yes.
Then we'll go.
Yes. So amazing is the affair of the believer. Definitely, all of his life is good, and this is not for anybody except the believer. If something of good happens to him, he is grateful, and that is good for him. If something harmful befalls him, he is patient, and that is good for him. So that's from Sahih Muslim. So
Cool.
yeah,
Nice.
and yeah, that's. I just thought we would end off by talking about that topic by sharing some positive hadith. And now we're gonna talk about our top 5.
Yeah.
Top
Okay.
5
I
what?
got top 5 movies.
No. It was
What was
top
it?
5 like comfort food.
But like, come on.
No,
we
no.
talked about
No, we
top
did
5
that.
food
Yeah, we did
last
that last
time.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we
We
did.
did. Well,
You
the
guys
week
didn't even.
before-
Okay,
The week before.
Hold up.
When we
hold
say
up,
last week,
hold up.
we mean.
Okay, so now I have some beef about that. I told this guy to release the podcast so many times. I want to listen to it. I didn't even know that you guys talked about food.
Was it not
It was
released?
released.
No,
It's not released.
no.
It's not released.
What
The
episode?
podcast.
What episode was the
10.
last one we recorded? 10? Okay, 8 is the one that was
Apologies.
released. That's the
Okay,
one I saw.
all right, fine. Top 5 movies.
Top 5 movies. I'm going last.
Oh man, this is not even fair. Okay, so
I'm going second last.
top 5 movies. I'd have to say.
So no, Adam has to go first.
Oh, I can go first.
Doesn't matter.
Number 1 would probably have to be Gladiator.
Yeah.
That's probably one of my favorite
Damn,
movies.
glad.
Um,
Coming out swinging.
now this is not an order because he
Yeah.
sort of put me on the spot. I also really liked Inception. I thought that was a really good movie. That's about it, guys. I honestly.
I can go next.
Do you know watch a lot of movies?
No, I do, but I just
On the
don't
spot.
really.
You have to give 5.
5. Okay.
Justin Bieber's movie.
I didn't even watch that yet. It's on my DVR. I'm just kidding.
You know it's there. Say it.
No, I honestly. Okay, go to somebody else. I'll come back.
Okay, you got 3 left. Thank you. Firas?
No particular. You're not doing any particular order,
No.
right?
No.
Just top 5. This is not because The Message. That was my favorite movie. Well, in the Arabic version, was
You mean The Notebook? I'm just kidding.
it's pretty much it's a movie that summarizes the life of the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And it's not because of its the way it portrays the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. I like the movie, how it tells a story, but I just liked it because it was one of the few movies that was directed. It's not Hollywood, with their brainwashing. It really had a profound message, and it was shot in the desert. It was such a clean, classic movie, but I loved it. It's just I need to make sure everyone knows and watches that movie.
Okay.
It's amazing. Second one is going to be Inception, just like you. And then it's going to be Shawshank Redemption. And then it's going to be The Green Mile. You got to love that movie. Tom Hanks.
Yeah, that was a really good
Talking about
movie.
8
Yeah.
Mile.
Oh.
And Toy Story. That's
Toy
that's
Story,
5.
which
Wow.
one?
That's 5, yeah.
One of these is not like the other.
It's not like the other. That's 5, right?
Okay, so 5. The Dark Knight.
It's okay if you have similar taste in
I'm gonna
movies.
say-
That's cool.
Can I say a trilogy?
Yeah.
Okay, Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Word.
I liked Watchmen.
Yeah, that was good.
2 more.
Not in my top 5.
Yeah, I don't even think that's in my top 5, but I'll say for the sake of being concise. What else do I have? Okay, I need 2 more.
See, just
I don't-
Transformers.
I'm trying to think of good movies.
Transformers.
Okay, first of all, not Transformers. Oh, the first one wasn't bad. Okay, wait. I'm trying to think of all different genres, right? So, Jurassic Park is up there.
The first one?
Yeah, the very first one.
Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Hell
Good
no,
movie.
that movie was so bad. Number 5. I'm trying to think of a comedy. I can't really think of one.
Step Brothers.
Step Brothers. I was actually just about to say that. That movie was
I
hilarious.
hated that movie.
Really?
I hated it. It
The
was
drum
so
set,
cringy.
man.
Yeah.
The drum set.
And then he was like, "This is how we do it." And he comes into the bed and falls. Good.
So number 1 would have to be the Batman trilogy for me.
Batman Begins.
Batman
Okay.
Begins, The Dark Knight Returns.
Batman in general, I suppose.
Dark Knight Rises.
Whoa, whatever.
Okay, you know what? It's one
Must
word,
start for a
man.
lot.
Yeah, okay. What's number 2?
Number 2 would have to be it was a tie. Can I have a tie?
Sure.
It was a tie between 2 movies. The second one, it's a bit more. It's a funny movie. I'll just say that. It's a tie between Step Brothers and Superbad. But
Superbad was funny.
Superbad was
I thought
funny.
it was hilarious.
I had a phase where I just really liked raunchy comedies. Anyways, continue.
Number 3 would have to be The Benchwarmers. For me, I really love that movie. It was the first movie I had on my iPod video back in the day.
Ooh,
Took
shout
me-
out to...
It took me 2 weeks to download it on dial-up internet. But it was a hilarious movie.
2 weeks?
John Heater's hilarious.
Damn, man, you had fast internet. 2
Okay,
weeks.
so I will... Oh, go ahead. You're not done. Oh, man. Everyone is cutting off that.
Last one.
And then
sorry.
I have to say the Pokemon movie. Come
Okay.
on, the first one. How can you guys not like?
Is that the one with Celebi?
No, that was the one with
Mewtwo.
I'm
Bro.
sorry. Only Zeki would have been.
Celebi is my favorite. That one is my favorite.
That was only 4 of one movie.
Okay, back to
And
your...
then my 5th one.
You already have... You're not done yet. How many
I
episodes
said
you have?
5.
Yeah,
You don't
okay,
want-
okay.
When you
All
tie,
right,
that
guys,
counts as
we are
still
like
at 3.
so-
Destroying Adam.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
He had a tie, so he actually has 6. But go
So
ahead.
my 5th one would have to be the first set of Spider-Man movies. Those are pretty good.
Solid.
With Tobey Maguire?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
those were
actually
good.
enjoyed
No,
those.
those...
Those
I
are
like
like
the
this.
first one.
Yeah, I
one's
like the
pretty
first
good.
one.
They did a good
Second,
job there.
the third one where he turns into
Yeah.
Black
Venom?
Batman.
Yeah.
It's called Venom.
He doesn't turn into Venom.
Yeah.
No, he
Black
fights Venom.
Yeah, but he has a black suit.
Oh,
Yeah, he has a
well,
black
like,
suit.
whatever.
Right.
He has, like...
Okay, go ahead.
Anyway, so I'm going to add on to my top 5 list. I have to say Moneyball was a really good
Oh,
movie.
with
Moneyball
Brad
was
Pitt?
so good. Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
so good. What else did I really like? You know, I went through a phase during high school where me and my cousin were like into Will Ferrell movies. That was like the raunchiest movie.
Step Brothers?
No, Talladega Nights.
What? Talladega Nights wasn't even that good.
It wasn't. It
hilarious,
wasn't.
man. It was
But
awesome.
except we went through a phase where we watched the movie like 3 times, and that's more than enough. That's more than you should be watching that movie. And now I have
first, you're
one
lost.
more, but I don't really have a 5th one.
You know, what was that? Blades of Fury, the Will Ferrell movie?
Not
Oh, that's
bad.
hilarious.
That
That was
was
pretty good.
actually parts of
the
parts
ping
of that
pong
was
one?
filmed.
Napoleon Dynamite. I love Napoleon Dynamite. Oh
add that
my
to my
God.
top 5.
Yeah, it's my top 5.
We're not friends anymore.
What's it called?
Were we ever friends knowing that you watched that?
Blades of Fury. Part of it was filmed on the West Edmonton Mall ice rink.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
Wow, I did not know
Wow.
that.
the guy who owns Blue Shift made like all like the American flags and everything for
cool.
that.
Hey, sure. What do you got, buddy?
Man, I don't even think I've watched 5 white movies in the last 10 years.
Okay, go Bollywood hits. Let's
I'm
go.
gonna go Bollywood. Okay, so number 1, I'm actually gonna say my favorite movie is a white movie. It's Law Abiding Citizen.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys watch it. It's great.
Heard of it.
Number 2, Kalahonaho for
Oh,
sure.
Kalahonaho.
Okay,
okay.
that's on Netflix.
Number 3, 3 Idiots.
Oh my, yes, that's my number 1 movie of all time.
Number
Remember
4,
Firas
change
talked
it
about
now.
that once?
Number 4. What do we got going on? Bollywood movies. Long
Lagan?
names. Long names.
Machado
Lagan. Lagan has to be in there. I'm a
Top
huge Amir
5.
Khan fan.
How many times have we mentioned Lagan on this podcast?
So
once
shout
a
out
month.
to
More
Amir
times than he's
Khan.
mentioned drugs, so that's a lot.
Yeah.
Number 5. Ooh. You know what? I'm just going to throw down Step Brothers because I've got a basketball tournament to get to.
Yeah. All right. On that note,
Shout out to the Raptors and go Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan. Sorry.
All right.
on that
note, we would like to thank you all so much for tuning in to another edition of the My Cave podcast. And I'm not going to start the intro again because I destroyed that. Thank you.
the outro.
And salam alaikum.
Hopefully,
Well,
Atif
so-
uploads
sorry.
it this time.
Cheers. Assalamu alaikum.